All right, welcome to game two. One of the rare occasions where both players have reasons to be satisfied, and not every game is meant to be a 70 move bloodbath. Some games run their course, and it certainly wasn't for lack of trying and for lack of competitive effort and energy by both players. That energy was on full display in the opening. Dingley Ren, big X factor. What will he bring to the table with the white pieces? Slightly anemic were some of his opening ideas against Yana Pomnishi, but here he comes armed with one e4. A traditional d4 player, he has shown a proclivity for the Italian, which he played successfully against Gukesh in the Singfield Cup of this year. He got an advantage in that game, but the surprise came on move 5. Instead of the traditional c3, the main line of the Italian, he takes it back into relatively rarefied 4 knights territory with knight c3. Pretty non-theoretical position as they throw in a6 and a4. And the novelty comes as early as move 8, h6 by Gukesh, bishop to e3, offering a trade, and bishop to e6, copycat chess blitzed out by Gukesh. And here, Ding, he took 45 minutes deciding which bishop to take. Just kidding. He did no such thing. He counter blitzes a5, an incredibly subtle move, which Judith and I spent many animated minutes unpacking. This is a sacrifice because Gukesh could have traded on c4 and then snuck his bishop into b4 and picked up the pawn on a5. Don't have time to get into the details, but this was certainly cooked up by Ding in his seconds. He gets a pretty big initiative here in return for either pawn that black can capture. Judith pointed out queen to d3, and this was not appealing to Gukesh given the situation he faced in this game. He chose the more mature Soviet school of chess castles kingside. That led to a trade and a fascinating endgame after the queens were swapped and a rook trade was offered. Here, Dingley Ren says, no. Enough trading. I'm moving my rook away from the open d-file. And the point of this move is to overprotect some of his pawns and prepare this knight maneuver to d3. Dingley Ren believed that he had a small advantage here, a tiny edge, all because of this pawn in a5. And what it does is it really sits on all of black's queenside pawns. It immobilizes them, and it ensures that these pawns on c5 and e5 are going to be eminently attackable. And now the maneuvering phase as Gukesh sticks his knight on d4, another retreating move. Brilliant maneuvering play by Dingley Ren, truly Karpov style, but all credit to Gukesh because these next few decisions he made ensured that Ding's advantage remained symbolic. He decided on the move g6. This might have been the pivotal defensive move because it created this idea of f7, f5, and it forced Ding to hurry. The point now is that knight d3 is almost never possible because of the tactic knight takes c2, removing the guard on the knight. And if white dilly-dallies with a move like f3, Gukesh planned to remove his knight from f6 and quickly push f5, creating counterplay. For this reason, Ding brought his rook to d1. Gukesh responded in kind. f3 was met with yet another measured move, king g7. Ding did something very similar, both sides kind of improving their position. And Ding decided that he was at a dead end, that he just didn't have any clear, meaningful ways to keep applying pressure. Whether that is true or not will be debated and talked about endlessly for the remaining hours of today. Maybe Ding could have responded by simply tossing the ball back into black's court, a move like h4, and now it would have been Gukesh who would have had to decide on ways to improve his position. But Ding decided he's up by 1 point. He doesn't want to overpress. And so the players repeating moves with a little knight dance to end the game on the 23rd move. So a short game, a tidy, clean game, no twists and turns like there were yesterday. And that is the beauty of the World Championship. Every game has its own narrative. It has its own chapter. And of course, the ultimate narrative is who's going to win the World Championship title. Way too early to tell. The score is 1.5-1/2 as the reigning world champion maintains his 1 point lead going into game 3. John, so much yet to be decided.